Hello and welcome to the walkthrough of Easy Busy Pets, software for pet care service providers. This video has quite a lot of chapters, so if you're more interested in how the system helps you get paid, or perhaps how our memberships features works, please do feel free to skip to the appropriate chapter. This presentation is divided into three parts. One is the booking or scheduling of services by the pet owner or the manager or workers in the business. The second part is the various ways of getting paid, either automatically or manually, depending on how you want to run your business. And the third is all about growth and how the system helps you grow your business as well. In these demonstrations, we usually start from the pet owner's perspective, and anybody who accesses your solution online can access it through any internet enabled device. So that could be a mobile device or a PC or a tablet as well. So let's start with the mobile phone example here. This happens to be an iPhone, but it doesn't matter what type of device you're using. That would be your logo. So when a pet owner clicks here, it could take them to a number of places. One is one of our off the shelf dashboard experiences, but you can also create your own dashboard for people using our website builder. Or you can, for example, send people to a booking experience like this one. I've set it up unique to my demonstration here. Of course, yours would be very different because you may or may not be a daycare, boarding house, kennel, grooming salon, or mobile groomer. You might only do dog walks and pet sitting, or perhaps you're a trainer. Now, booking services with Easy Busy Pets, there's three different ways of doing that, actually. There's the traditional 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 1.5 hours, a certain small period of time to complete a service. And that's one way of booking things from an experiential perspective. However, a lot of our other pet service providers require group events, joining groups that have capacity. And if they're full, their waiting list. That experience is different and should be. The third is overnights, is very different from the other two that I've listed earlier. I'm going to start from the simplest kind, which is the 30-minute dog walk. The fact that the pet owner can make a booking in the first place is because they've already filled out a bunch of electronic documents in the system. The system has a lot of stages that you can implement. The pet owner might need to go through, for example, a meet and greet, or maybe they need to fill out service agreements or update vaccinations before they can even make a booking. Otherwise, it wouldn't let them move forward if that's the way you want it to run. Whereas trainers, for example, they might need nothing more than a prepayment in order to join a group session of some kind, like a puppy kindergarten. But to keep things simple, let's start with the 30-minute dog walk. And a pet owner would click to book. And the way I have it set up is they can choose to add feeding as an add-on to their 30-minute dog walk. And below you're seeing this footer. It's just an example footer. Yours would be unique to your brand. Because it knows the pet owner, it also knows the pets that they own. And it's giving them the options by default. I will choose Daisy as part of my booking. And so the pet owner moves to the next stage. They can choose multiple dates or a specific date. And just to keep things simple, the way this dog walk service is set up is time options, essentially. This business has a number of dog walkers, and they all have their availabilities and when they're off on holiday, and the fact that they can do this 30-minute dog walk or not, based on a variety of factors. The times that are actually being shown to the pet owner are a function of that. So the fact that somebody available at 12 o'clock means that I can choose 12 o'clock as the pet owner here, but I can't choose 4:30 because maybe my team of 4 dog walkers, none of them are available at 4:30 p.m. any longer. Perhaps they've already been booked up for that slot, every single one of them. The time options are also configurable. You can create labels such as 12 to 1 or morning, midday, evening. It's whatever you'd like to label it as. And it would have a corresponding meaning on the scheduling side as well. Let's just keep things simple. Today's the 13th. I'm going to choose 12 p.m. And the next stage is asking for the address. This is different depending on the type of service. It might show a pickup and drop off. It might not show anything at all because maybe it's at a facility or It might show the park address if you're doing training out in the field. The next stage might be asking various questions that are unique to this appointment. You can have all kinds of things here: pull down menus, checkboxes, radio buttons, note boxes, date entries, file uploads, so that you have specific details that might be unique to your particular service offering. And the final stage is a quote. In this quote, you'll see two services, and the fellow who is assigned to Daisy, that has to do a lot with automation, both from assignments as well as what these prices are. This pet owner, she actually purchased a package, and that's why the credits are going towards this quote as $0. Things might change during the actual service, so the system will automatically account for changes during the billing cycle. Furthermore, request means request accept. So this is one of the options you have. Namely, you can request a service and then somebody from the team will accept it based on the permissions and rules you set up on the management side of the operation. As you'll see in the next few example bookings, we're talking about scenarios where you can have prepay, that is down payments, and perhaps auto booking, so it can automatically book people in as long as there's availability. I've requested this service from the business. They will be able to accept or decline, or make changes and accept, or even propose changes that I can accept on my side as the pet owner. I can cancel and update here as well. So let's go back to the booking and let's book a variant of these transactional services for grooming scenario. When a pet owner books grooming, grooming is special. Let's add some extra add-ons just for fun. The pet owner will choose their pet. Let's choose Daisy again. One thing to notice is that the labels have been added here instead of time options. And don't forget about the availability, the fact that I have 5 groomers to choose from in the system. The system knows that these are the actual times that the groomers are available to do the job. Not all grooming is the same. They have different models. So this is just an example. There's no selection of addresses because it happens to be at a salon in this case. The final stage is where things get interesting. 2 things of note. This price is $50 because Daisy has a certain breed, size, hair length, and whatever attribute you want, we're automatically considering the price. So the system is automatically deciding whether it's $50, $80, $120. That's called smart fields. And there's another video where we discuss that in more detail. The pricing is varying depending on the dog. And it's not just the price, the duration changes too. Because if you're doing a full groom for a Mastiff versus a Shih Tzu, we're talking about 3 hours versus 1 hour, for example, in terms of time to complete the job from start to finish. Furthermore, we have an example here of a 10% deposit. So that's a real Visa. Let's do another booking. This time, let's book an overnight. And we'll do the group events next after the overnight. Booking an overnight might seem similar for most of the steps. Let's choose Daisy again, except for this stage right here. So this is more user-friendly for booking overnights. Why? Because I want to book from, let's say, the 14th, and these can be multiple options here. It's just a typical label that I put in. We start on the 14th and we want to end on the 26th. This calendar system is different because it's letting you choose consecutive dates. This happens to be some informational questions that relate into what is called a kennel card. The kennels would know more about this terminology. And then in the quote, you'll see it's per night. It's not for a transactional 1.5 hours or something like that. Now let's do some group bookings. I've set up 2 options here, one for group walks and one for classes. And here's some examples on that experience. For example, this business offers group basic obedience. That's just a generic name. You can call it whatever you want. You can have all kinds of series, and you can have memberships and packages and programs that people can prepay to take part in these series as well. So not everything is covered in this video. It's to inspire you to learn more about this feature, but let's join this group, which happens to be open. It would be red and it would have a waiting list word instead of open if it was already fully booked. So here I am as the pet owner looking to join this service. And it's asking me which pet I've already selected Daisy in the past for that program. I'm just going to add Bobby now. And these are all the dates that they would attend that series. As you can see, there's a deposit request here as well. And depending on how you set up your deposits, you can make the system force a deposit 100% or partial, and up to how many of them to charge that deposit. Tips can be turned on and off. This is just an example of what it would look like. And let's pay it to get booked in. Now, before I go to the management side, I just wanted to show you one of our off-the-shelf dashboards. Just some quick links. These are the pets which you can book and edit here as well. And then some details. I use this customer a lot for my demonstration, so there's a lot of data. And then some pictures of the pet and perhaps some memberships and packages that they own. Easy Busy Pets has 4 different types of users. There's management, pet owners, employees, workers, third-party contractors. That's the third. And the fourth is the general public. What you're seeing here is the example of a website where it's not sure who I am. It thinks I'm the general public. And so it's giving me options, the ability to sign up and log in or try to book, but it won't recognize me. It'll say you'll have to sign up and become a customer, just front facing options. But if I go to my website and it recognizes me as the manager, it just logs me in. The difference, of course, is the ribbon here in terms of operational controls. And you're probably wondering why you're seeing the website here. It's because we're also a website builder. You can have your website with us, and it's completely integrated with our operations. So if you have any questions about that, please check out some of our other videos about the Easy Busy Pets website builder. Managers of the business have a lot of options. They can work with the various scheduling calendars that we have here. In fact, we have 6 of them. One is a rooms calendar. There's the monthly, weekly, 5-day, which are typical for scheduling software. And then we also have 2 types of daily agendas. And now we spent a long time building these calendars out for all kinds of pet care businesses, dog walkers, pet sitters, grooming salons, mobile dog groomers, daycare, kennels, trainers, wellness people. And we've learned a lot along the way. We can spend quite a lot of time discussing the different views that we're seeing here. What we did more recently is we created a dashboard technology to summarize best parts of our various calendars. And here it is. The dashboard is interactive and it lets you control how things are going without leaving the screen. It also gives you intel or reporting. In our research, we found that people are looking for these details the most. So revenue, estimated outstanding, number of clients so far, number of pets. It's all filtered by today, this week, or this month compared to some other previous period. And it lets you narrow down information by a combination of things, combination of categories of business, as well as specific staff. Now, this is just our off-the-shelf sample dashboard. You can build your dashboard with all kinds of components. And so we have some requests coming in for today. This is the dog walking request that came from the pet owner. Her name was Stephanie. Her dog was Daisy. And there's another one here for boarding, which it's requesting. I'm just going to accept them both for purposes of expediency. And they pop up here in the list. What you're seeing here is a list with time, the type of work, the employees, and the clients and their pets. These appointments will have multiple clients and pets if they're group events. That's the destination. If you're working in the field, then this will take you into your navigation if you're looking at this on the mobile phone. And then, of course, your various options to check in and check out. For example, I can check into a grooming request by Jerome Samuels. and it turns blue because it's in progress. If I need to check something out, it turns green. These are just stages. I'm going to demonstrate the same thing on the mobile phone in just a minute. But before I do that, a little bit more, you can control your reporting from here. You don't have to click here to go into the appointment. You can add photos. You can add custom notes. That involves rapid photo taking and rapid notes all in one. These are just examples of entries. The fact that you fed earpod in this case, that he peed and he pooed. So I'm just clicking these up and it's going to be part of the appointment and part of the report. But by no means are these forced on you. This is just the way I set it up for the purposes of demonstration. When you set up with Easy Busy Pets, you can define the kind of things you want to report on without having to go into great effort into typing things up in a certain format every time. So let's switch to the mobile phone. Why am I doing this? To show you that it doesn't matter which device you're on, you're going to have the same features. This is the exact same screen as what you're seeing behind it on the PC. It's all the same stuff. The only difference on the mobile phone, assuming of course the mobile phone has the right hardware, is that you can have access to GPS locationing when you're checking in and checking out, as well as the camera. The personal computer doesn't have a camera. It has a file system of pictures perhaps, but it doesn't have a camera. Let's go ahead and check into that 30-minute dog walk. All right. The next step I want to do is report that Bobby's having a really great day. Bobby's having fun. Now let's upload some photos. I'm going to take a photo of my dog. Now I know Daisy is not Bobby, but I needed to make a photo of a pet for purposes of demonstration. And that's one. And you can actually add multiple pictures if you wish. No problem. All in one session. Now, what does this look like horizontally? A little bit more like the PC screen that we were working with. And that demonstrates the dashboard. What if we wanted to go right into the appointment? No problem. Click on the time. And if you click the picture next to the client or the pet, you'd be able to add even more of that information. And by the way, those checks on peed, pooed, feeding, or medication, they would show up here as well. You're probably wondering what these details are about the pet or the client. When you create documents in the system for the client to fill out about themselves and their pet, those details can also show up on the appointments. It's up to you. And the way I have it set up is when I look at the appointment and the pet, I need to know their size and maybe their color. And if I'm a dog walker, I want to know how to disable an alarm right away so that I don't have to go looking into Stephanie's forms to find the disarm alarm code, because that might take too much time. So just some information here that might be useful. The picture taking feature here, it's the same as the one you saw on the dashboard. So let's check out. And here's where it gets really interesting. The pet owner just received a notification about how things went. Let's open that up. When pet owners get the notification on how things went through email, that your branding is actually showing up here. And that would be the pet owner report card. So basically everything that went down, they can click this and they can go ahead and see the pictures and all the updates you checked off that in terms of tasks that you've completed. And then it says, in your words, are you happy with us? Did you have a good experience? And if they say yes, that can actually do a number of things. We have an automated customer review technology. And what it's doing right now is it's redirecting them to a sample Facebook review site. If you have Facebook and you want to review there, it can also redirect them to Google, for example. And then there's a third option where they can just leave a review on your site and you're in more control of that than anywhere else. Automated client reviews are an extremely powerful growth tool. They allow the customers with zero effort to leave you a review. And it's actually a breakthrough because There is no link that they need to go to. It asks them at the perfect time. And it's resulted in hundreds of reviews for businesses that typically would get one review every 3 months. It also leaves you from having to ask them over and over again to get that review. Important for businesses that are just starting out, at least in terms of giving reviews on how things went recently for other pet owners so that their prospects will trust them more. So, how do you get paid? There's a number of ways because we have storefronts and we have pet sitters that like to do things automatically. You can generate bills for people from their profiles. Invoices can be generated from the appointment itself. But my favorite approach is to show the smart invoicing because that's a really good segue to automated invoicing. And I'll show you that as well. So how did I get here? I went to invoices and then I clicked the smart invoice button. Before I do that, I just want to note that this is my history of bills. These are invoices that were settled or still outstanding. It's quite a mature payment acceptance and invoicing and billing technology. There's a lot to discuss here, should you be interested in learning more about Easy Busy Pets. Furthermore, we have data analytics, which is dynamic information, very useful for your operational reporting, as well as exports for all kinds of scenarios. But I'm going to click on Smart Invoicing here. And what it does is, for whatever period of time that's important to you, it scrapes the calendar for appointments and people that still owe you money for those items. And it looks like these 4 people owe me money within this date range. And what it is really a bulk personalized billing en masse system. So I can select them all and or specific people like Stephanie, for example, who owes me $1,600 by now. And I can generate a draft, or I have the send option, which means it generates a draft and sends it to Stephanie to pay on her side, which means she can use a credit card that she used in the past, or she can add a new credit card and pay. Or I can use the charge button, which is create a draft, send it to everybody, and charge those who have a card on file en masse, which is really cool. So I'm going to generate a draft bill for Stephanie here. And ironically, you won't have to do any of this stuff if you enable our automated billing and invoicing, but I'll talk about that in a later step. So what you're seeing here is a generated bill. These are from various different appointments. That's the price amounts. Some of you might be wondering why there's state tax. It's up to you whether you want to set a service to offer state tax or not. You can modify any of these items, of course, and you can add new items. We do products on Easy Busy Pets. You can have add to cart and everything. So you can even have a physical point of sale device if you want to accept payments for physical credit cards. So I'm just going to type leash. I think I have a leash or a collar, maybe dog collar. Here we go. So that's a product. Invoices are directly tied to the appointments themselves. If I go to the appointment, doesn't have an invoicing option anymore. It's somewhere in the calendar because it has a bill that it's part of already. So there's no way of double charging people. It's showing which pet, and that's the sum. Now, I was just demonstrating to a Canadian company, which is why you're seeing it in CAD. We have, I think, over 160 different currencies, US, Australian dollar, Great British pound, whatever works for you. I'm going to go ahead and start charging. Easy Busy Pets allows you to do partial payments. So here's an example where I can use a Visa. Let's choose a $9 amount and a tip of maybe $5. So $14 in total. $9. The total is $17.60. So minus 9, it should be $17.51. If my math is right, and it is. And so it's partially paid. Let's make it a 2-part partial payment. So let's pay the rest of it with, let's say, cash. So let's say they gave me cash. So I'm just marking it as paid by the rest being cash. And what you're seeing here is 2 payments, one by cash, one by Visa. I'll get right back to this in just a moment. You're probably wondering what this is. Tips are a big part of a service business, and different people did different work here. Now, their contribution to the total is how the tip of $5 originally from the credit card was divided. And that's why you're seeing this report. There's downstream tip reports, or gratuities is what we call it. for each of the workers in their login as well. There's also Payroll, by the way, which takes this information in terms of its calculations. So that's why you're seeing what you're seeing here. And because this is a real Visa transaction, let's actually refund it. I can refund the total amount or a partial amount, just write the partial amount and refund it. So it'll just send the money right back to the Visa. And now it's refunded. Now, just to take it to the next level here, Invoices payment settings. We have automated invoicing. And what that means is you can add a rule. In this rule, you can name it. Let's say I want to offer this rule specifically for dog walking every week, something like that. Let's title it like that. So something weekly, every week, the day of the week being Tuesday at 2 p.m. I want something to happen from an invoicing perspective. That's my title. That's the programming of the rule of when it happens. I want it to apply to specific dog walking services, just these two. But I don't want it to happen to, here, let's actually erase this. Let's just do it for the 30-minute and 60-minute dog walk. Because I have a lot of different services I had set up here. I want this automated invoicing rule only to apply to those services. And I don't want it to apply to all clients except the following. Or you can apply to all clients except for specific ones that you specify there. Or you can apply to specific clients like, let's say, Stephanie and Jerome Samuels. Okay, so this rule is going to apply to just those people. When it executes every week, for example, on that Tuesday, what to do? I want it to create the invoices and charge those invoices as well. So that's what I want the rule to do. Here's your summary, and let's add the rule. Automated invoicing will now permanently do this until I deactivate it. So right now I'm pausing it. But the fact that you can do this means you never have to do any billing again. And that's the power of automated invoicing. Staff management is another aspect of Easy Busy Pets. I currently have 4 staff members set up here, and each staff member has settings for their availability and whether they're or not they're on holiday, the permissions, which are over 85 permissions on what they can do with the system, as well as the services they're capable of. Dog walkers are typically not groomers, for example. Groomers are not typically facility cleaners of the kennel runs. And so you might have a large operation where you need to set up who's capable of what work. Of course, there's also tips and their payroll, which they might see their own payroll, but you would see everybody's as the manager of the business. And lastly, from an availability perspective, and this is for everybody, you can actually integrate your Google Calendar so that it knows whether you're not available due to a doctor's appointment or something like that. And that concludes this demonstration. Easy Busy Pets has quite a lot of capabilities. This was not meant to be an exhaustive demonstration. It was just meant to give you enough inspiration to learn more about the solution. And please do feel free to contact us if you have any questions or want to learn more about advanced topics like our memberships technology or packages. Memberships, think of them as a gym membership, but pet-centric with additional rules to control things that are more tailored to the pet care industry. That is all for now, and thanks again for listening.